big tech companies are censoring conservative views. We talked about this yesterday briefly, but now those situations seem to affect my black ass. Problem with it is that they have um, gave us a strike. Talking about facts and opinions. This tech censorship is truly getting out of hand because, again, it infringes on your constitutional right and your freedom of speech. And it seems as if these tech companies have a lot of power. Like I said yesterday, seems to me as if they want to be a part of the government, but none of them were elected to serve in any office. But they have enough power to where they can curtail your words, your speech, your intentions to get out any type of information that you would deem important, necessary, or inclusive to certain members of our society. Now, I have expressed that in the most calm fashion I can. Now, back to me. That was some fucking bullshit that I found out today. That now big tech wants to censor me. As if I'm all up in the clouds, all around everybody, telling everybody everything. Now, look, like I said, they are censoring conservative viewpoints, not for inciting violence, not for instituting any type of negativism. Okay, not for any of that. Okay, now we understand terms of service. We understand the policies that these tech companies are trying to institute on the American public. And we are not dumb enough to believe that this is supposed to be in our own good, for our own good, and our own best interest. It's in our own best interest to be silenced? Is that what this is now? Where we can't express ourselves in a forum where those that choose to listen, and those who do not choose to listen do the most logical thing. Change the damn channel. But instead, we, the conservative view, the more rational view, is being silenced. Now, again, I've said this yesterday, and I've said it in other shows. What they do to you, or shall I say, what they do to your opponent, they will do to you later. It just depends on the views that you hold. If those views are contrary to what big tech or any monopoly feels you should espouse. This is ridiculous on levels that's unprecedented in our history. Now, remember, there is a third estate. It's not even talked about in that way. But the third estate is supposed to be the media. Okay? You got the first estate, second estate, and the third estate. Executive, legislative, and to keep both of those to keep both of those institutions on the level, it's supposed to be media. They're supposed to report and keep both of those on the level with us, letting us know the things that they do that could affect us. But today's situation is completely turned on its head. The media does not report the way it did 40, 50 years ago. They don't even report the way they used to report, like, say, for instance, Watergate. Okay? That was such a big scandal, Watergate, because of, some guys broke in and stole some documents, and then a whole lot of lies got told about it. Watergate. But we have scandals right now that go way beyond Watergate. Way beyond Watergate. To the point where billions, if not trillions of dollars in dark money has been issued out to do favors for one person or one party, more so than the other. And none of this is being reported by the mainstream media, the third estate. But when you go to homegrown radio stations or news stations who actually want to disseminate that information to you so that you can be aware of what's going on, those people, those little, little companies, those broadcasters are quickly eliminated from the stream of news because now you're limited. You're limited to what the mainstream media tells you. And if they figure one particular day they want to tell you a bunch of fucking lies, guess what? They're going to tell you a bunch of fucking lies. And then spin it, ta-da, to make it look like the damn truth. And then, have you ever asked yourself this? Have you ever sat down, watched some mainstream media news broadcast, and as they're telling you the story or the event of the day, at the end of it, you feel unfulfilled. You feel like something's being left out. If they, say for instance, they tell you about some new legislation that was passed, okay? They tell you the icing, the pieces that's on top, but they don't get down into the meat of that legislation to let you know if some shady dealings have been taking place, or one of the legislators has slipped in some little special trinket for special interests. They don't do that unless, remember now, unless it goes against a fucking opponent. Perfect. We had a 5,000-page bill that was just delivered to the House of Representatives and the Senate. That was part of that stimulus package. And then the omnibus, sorry, I can't get my words out. The omnibus bill, okay? 5,000, almost 6,000 pages there. Like, I think it was like 5,500 or 5,600 pages. How many people do you believe in the House of Representatives or in the Senate read every fucking page? How many people do you believe read every fucking page of that bill? I'll wait. Yeah, my response was the same too. None of them. Because when you pass legislation, it should, seriously, no joke, it should consist of enough pages to where you understand the law, it's disseminated, it's read out, it's clearly defined, and that it is an effective law. Okay? It achieves the goals it's set out to achieve. Now, in this omnibus spending bill and the stimulus package, or the stimulus bill, you got 5,600 pages there. No one on Capitol Hill read the whole 5,600 page bill. Not one of them. But we vote for these people, and we don't even know what's in the bill. What did Nancy Pelosi say when they were trying to pass health care? Oh, well, we need to pass the bill for you to see what's in the bill. That's not the way this was supposed to go, okay? Let's be real. This is not the way it's supposed to go. Do you sign your name on anything that you don't know or that you haven't read? Seriously, think about it. Do you sign your name or agree to something that you've never read before? But these people do it almost every day now. Our government is so dysfunctional. It makes no sense. And being that it's so dysfunctional, they can't even come together to stop private businesses from infringing on the Americans' right of speech. They're so discombobulated. Talking about the House of Representatives, talking about the Senate. These people are so confused. And these are what we call leaders, okay? These people can't even agree that the American people's right is being infringed upon by a corporation or a number of corporations. That would seem something very simple, nonpartisan, come together, get rid of 230, everybody's fucking happy. But no, we can't even do that much. We elect these people to represent us. And all they do is pay lip service to something that is clearly obvious, clearly out of place, and clearly infringes on our rights. But they cannot come together to do something about this. The reason why they can't come together and do something about this is because it infringes on the rights of the opponent. Why would you want to change that? If the other side is being silenced, and i.e., you happen to be on the Democrat side, why would you want that to stop? Why would you not want your policies, your ideas to rise to the surface without any competition, without any type of obstruction? Why wouldn't you do this? It's just common sense. Remember, we talked. It is clearly obvious if you don't know the nature of man, your ass is doomed. This is the nature of man. Man craves power. When I say man, I mean women, people, whatever. They crave power. The power over you, the power over me, the power over everyone. And be damn your rights. Be damn the fact that it's unconstitutional. Be damn any election, be damn any results, be damn, be damn, be damned. As long as at the end of the day, the power has shifted and is in the hands of the people who demand to have this power. Demanded so much that they would cheat at an election, that they will be hypocritical when it comes to every last one of those riots that took place in Seattle, Washington, and all these other different places, saying that people should get out in the streets and protest. There should be more protests. Go back, look at the archive footage, you can understand it. And this one incident that took place in the Capitol, which the president was not encouraging in any shape, form, or fashion. I watched his speech. But there were people blended in, total anarchists. These people they have facial recognition software. I was watching some of these things. They have facial recognition software. They know who these people are. They have clear pictures of these people. They are arresting these people. And once they arrest these people and go into their history, you find that these are BLM members. You find that these are Antifa members. You find that somewhere down the line, you had a few Proud Boy members. These people were not there to support any type of law or order, and we all know this. We all know this. They didn't come there with the idea of a peaceful march because their past behavior proves that. Look at Seattle. Look at all these other cities. Over the course of this year, 2020 was a really bad fucking year. Look at all these other cities that experienced the riots, experienced the looting, experienced the deaths. These same leaders were the ones inciting this. Not Trump, not the Republicans, the Republican Party, for whatever sake you want to call for them, at least stood up and was saying, this is wrong. This should never happen in America. This is shameful. But the other side wanted to support this. I don't have to lie. I don't have to exaggerate. Go back and look. Auntie Maxine. They're not welcome here. Get out, jump out, confront them. But you are the same party that is consistently preaching to the other side that we need unity. But this is how you call yourself uniting the country. By being totally hypocritical over something that President Trump had nothing to do with. Even mainstream media is pulling back off a lot of the things that they said in the beginning of this and now are showing favorable reports about the president not being involved, the president having a timeline where he was nowhere around, the president expressing that he wanted his listeners, his followers, to go to the Capitol in peace and protest. What was going on with that count? Not one time did that man let out of his mouth anything closely resembling incitement or violence. But we have to take a break and say you are watching Facts and Opinions on WJZZ Cool TV, the coolest station in the world. Live streaming Saturday and Sunday from 2 till 3 on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope. Now look here. We recapping. That's what we talking about. All right. Now, a few weeks ago, there was supposed right after the election, there was supposed to have been there wasn't supposed to have been. There was a presidential order that was signed, I think, in 2018 or 2019, that required certain agencies in our government to submit to the president a report on election interference in this election. And if there was any outside interference, such as China, Iran, Iraq, Cuba, Venezuela, Ukraine, a variety of different countries. Okay. Well, when the report was completed, it was given to Director Radcliffe. Okay, he's the head of the DNI. He oversees all 17 agencies of the federal government. And these agencies were supposed to submit a report to him, and then in turn, he was supposed to submit that to the president. Now, here's the thing about that. When Radcliffe received the first draft of the information, it was so heavily redacted that it couldn't be clearly understood, or really any information was so blacked out, it was just like blah. So Radcliffe sent it back to the agencies. And I'm not sure, because we haven't heard, I know I haven't heard anything else about the second report coming out. I'm not saying that it didn't. I'm just saying I haven't heard anything about it. But it was expected before the before the inauguration of Joe Biden. Well, that's coming Wednesday. Ain't heard nothing else about it. And as I stated before, it seems as if President Trump has conceded to Joe Biden. I'm not tripping about it, but these are the chain of events. Now, we also talked about a couple of weeks ago this whole, what appears to be a conspiracy theory, but if you dig a little deeper, it seems like it's starting to become more factual. And what I'm referring to is Canada, our neighbor to the north, and Mexico, our neighbor to the south. It seems as if there are a number of Chinese, sorry. There seems to be a number of Chinese troops south of America. I ain't say South America, I said south of America, okay? And it seems to be a number of troops to the north of America. Now, I'm not sure the concentration, I'm not sure the numbers, but it seems a tad bit suspicious that this information is out there. It's truly out there. It's coming from a variety of different sources, so it's not as if, it's only coming from one area. This information coming from a variety of different sources. And right now, things are heating up in the South China Sea. Now, how I have a problem with all of this, if you can feel my vibe for a moment, well, I'm having a problem with all this is this. Trump laid down his America First policy, all right? And it seems as if in the waning days of his administration, seems like the heat has been getting turned up a lot more when it comes to China, Iran, and quietly Russia. My concern in these three countries is that we've had infiltration of our government by Chinese spies. And matter of fact, let me get to something real quick. The phone lines are open. You are more than free to call in. I would love to hear from you. Maybe we can get a rapport going on, and you can ask me a couple of questions, and I can listen to what's on your mind. But back to what I was saying. This seems a little weird when we have these reports, but no one's actually doing anything about it. All right, you have videos that go out almost every day where you see citizen, I guess you say citizen journalists, happen to be in certain areas of the country, and they notice mobilizations of heavy equipment being relocated from one area to another area. And a lot had been reported moving south towards the United States and Mexico border. Now, Trump said, now, all I'm telling you now, this could be considered conspiracy, but you have to play the game as a puzzle and put the pieces together because they're not going to do it for you. They're just actually going to lay it out for you. You got to do that shit yourself. Now, a lot of people believe that President Trump built that wall down at the southern border to keep out drugs, to keep out illegal individuals, to keep out gangs, okay, and keep out all the shady, whatever, seedy ass individuals. I got you. But there's another train of thought that goes with the idea that maybe President Trump may have put that up as a break, you know, because you don't want a whole army easily rushing across your southern border. But you also don't want to panic your population either. These people know things we are totally oblivious to, but their actions can speak much louder than their words if you know what to look for. Now, I'm not saying wake up tomorrow morning, grab your shotgun, and be standing a post in front of your house. That's not what I'm saying. But you have to be a little bit more curious, let's say curious, in order to find out exactly what these people are doing. They're not going to tell you. They're not going to put it out there. They're never going to be, well, you know, we're doing this, we're doing that, and prepare to go for the hills. No, they're not going to do that. That's stupid. They don't want to panic the public. But they knew about the Japanese wanting to attack Pearl Harbor in 1941. The government knew. Go look at the declassified files. I'm telling you, all this shit I'm telling you is real. Go back and look at the declassified files. They also knew that the Vietnam War, the Gulf of Tonkin incident, was bullshit. Declassified files got us into war with the in Vietnam. Said that a ship was attacked, which drug us into that shit. They knew about what was going on with Japan during World War II. Drug our ass right into that shit. You think that they don't know what's really going on right now, and that we might get our asses drug off into some new shit? The only thing I've always said is, as the society, as the public in general, individuals don't have a lot of power to go up against the government. But as a unit, we can all be upset about what we're not being told. The third estate needs to be addressed. Mainstream media, they need to be addressed in the proper manner. Not blowing nothing up, not setting fires, not breaking windows, not rioting. That's not how any steps are accomplished. If you want to change the outcome of something, you have to let people know how serious you are about that. And you have to stand your post. You have to stand there and say, no, I will not back down. No, I will not yield. But it doesn't mean that you take the anarchist route and burn down this, burn down that, tear up this, tear up that, because now your argument is lost. Your position is no longer a good position. It makes no sense. No one wants to hear that you feel your rights have been infringed on and you carrying a motherfucking 32 inch down the street. That makes no sense. But if you stand your game, stand your post like you're supposed to, be a law-abiding citizen, use the Constitution as your weapon, guess what? You eventually change things, and usually for the better. But as things stand right now, you have to be forewarned. You have to be totally knowledgeable about what's going on. And the third estate is not putting that knowledge out there. How that knowledge can get out there? Through citizen journalists. What happens with them now? They're being blacklisted. They're being censored. They're being deplatformed and so on and so forth. And Again, I come back to the same point. Our governmental leaders in the Congress and in the Senate, I mean, in the House of Representatives and in the Senate, cannot even come together to change a exemption, because that's basically what it is, keeping these people from being sued for doing exactly what they're doing right now. They passed it back, I think, in the late 80s, early 90s, because when they were young, when the internet was young, they wanted, to bing, take off. So they gave them this exemption, and guess what? Bing, it took off. But now it's time for a revision. We need to revise that 230, because right now 230 is whooping our ass. It's literally kicking our ass around this joint. One law meant to establish a whole organization, a whole internet world, a whole cyber world. One piece of legislation designed just to do that. It has accomplished what it was meant to accomplish. But now, the little bitty monster has grown into a gigantic monster. I think that some bitch need to be chopped down to size a little bit. And 230, that exemption needs to go. And a lot of people feel that way, that are not on the other side. This should have been taken care of months ago, because 230 has been an issue with a lot of people for a long time. This just didn't wake up and start today. This has been going on for a while. They have been literally silencing people quietly. They don't, rush out there at the middle of the day and say, well, fuck it, we cutting everybody off, goddammit. They don't do that. They do it little by little, incrementally, until you wake up one day and find out your favorite station, and I had a bunch of them, fucking no longer exist. Or they had to go and do their own thing on other platforms. So now you got to seek them out again. See, this is designed to frustrate you from looking for the information that is clearly out there, because they don't want you to know what's really going on. Now, I know that shit sound kind of crazy. Who is they? Who is they? You know who the hell they are. They are the ones who are running every fucking thing. Those are the ones who's got all the money, got all the power, got all the influence. Those are the ones that are trying to backdoor steal all our damn rights. Our freedom of expression, our freedom of speech. Take away our guns, take away our religion. These are the ones that I refer to as those, them, that. And it also goes along with the idea of the fucking swamp, okay? So these people that we are referring to, they're powerful people in high places. But the little man, the small guy, the small fry, he can only get his voice heard by uniting with another small fry, and then another small fry, and then you got a bunch of small fries. Now you got a happy meal. We can fuck some shit up now. All we got to do is stand our ground, have our little protest signs, walk around, and we'll get what the fuck we came for. And violence is never going to get us there. Nobody wants to deal with that. But in certain areas of the country, I, again, say, these are some of the most hypocritical ass people I've ever seen in my life. And I'm referring to the leadership in Washington. In one breath, they'll tell you that violence is never the key. But before they can finish that same breath, they'll turn around and say, but the rioters have a reason. They're out there trying to get a loaf of bread. Okay. Since when does the Nike store sell fucking bread? Since when does Walmart in the electronics section start stacking fucking loaves of bread back there? Okay? I'd like to understand this. These are the excuses that one side uses when it favors them. How many people on the libertarian or liberal side condemned Antifa, BLM, or any of the things that took place this past summer? How many of them? It wasn't many. I can only recall one, Tulsi Gabbard out of Hawaii. She was the only one that condemned any of it, but she did it. She did it when she condemned them. She did it with a little wink of the eye, I guess you would say. But she was, at least she was one that spoke out against it. But every other Democrat in the House and some in the Senate made allowances for this behavior. These are some hypocritical ass people who have a lot of power right now. And these same people want you to vote for them every election cycle to keep them in that type of power. But look at what they're doing with this type of power. Look at how they're influencing everything that's going on around us. And not for the better. Not for the better. Look at what's going to happen with some of the proposals Joe Biden was referring to. Now, we talked about this yesterday. $2 trillion he wants to come up with for a stimulus package. All right? That's his idea. $2 trillion in a stimulus package for the American people. Excuse me. Sounds good, don't it? I thought it did. Now, does $27 trillion of a national debt sound as good to you now? Because that's where we at. We talked about how this government, unrestrained, is doing what it's doing. They're causing this nation to be under a lot of economic pressure. They're causing this nation to come very, very, very close to bankruptcy. Because there has never been a nation on the face of this entire motherfucking globe that has owed $27 trillion. Nobody. No nation owing that type of debt has ever sustained itself, has ever grown this way or grown that way or came up with some miraculous magic wand to make that debt disappear without it being a lot of pain involved. Do you understand me? And I keep saying the same thing I've been saying. When this whole damn house of cards goes crashing to the fucking ground, it don't go crashing with the higher ups. Guess what? They still put gas in their cars. They still have these high polluting lunches and dinners. They still got their $10,000 fridge and they high end ice creams. The person that benefits from a collapse of this country's economic system is not the guy that gets up and goes to work every day. It's not the woman who struggles to get her day underway and get her thing started. It's not us. It's not us. We don't benefit from that. The only people that benefit from the collapse of a nation's economic system is the higher ups. The ones that actually cause the collapse. The ones who frivolously and irresponsibly printed trillions and trillions of dollars, causing your monetary system, causing your dollar to depreciate. Meaning there is inflation, but they smart with their game. They ain't gonna try and tell you, well, this isn't this and that. There is no inflation. Look, let me tell you something. We know what inflation looks like. If we go to the store this afternoon, buy a dozen eggs for $2, and then tomorrow afternoon you go back to that store, buy another dozen eggs, and now that damn dozen eggs is $2.50. We know what inflation looks like. But what they try to tell you is, oh, inflation isn't in this area or in that area. Now they're trying to isolate where inflation is. Saying, you know that your old trick, oh, don't look over there, look over here. They want you to look over here at this shiny object while all hell is breaking loose behind you. These are things we have to prep for. And a lot of us are totally oblivious to it because, I mean, come on, now ain't nobody really sitting up here watching the damn numbers on Wall Street. Just because the Dow Jones hit 30,000 means nothing. It means nothing. It really doesn't. Because as quick as it got to 30,000, what was the first time it ever did in its existence? Those numbers are truly fake when you look at the dollar itself and the strength that it has. Now, we were on our way to sound money. Sound money is money that is backed by something precious. Gold, silver, platinum, something like that. That's sound money. What we have right now, and what is commonly known as fiat currency, because they pressing it out. depreciating your money. What we got right now is the petrodollar. Now they took us off the gold standard. That was sound money. That was the people's money. Okay? They took us off the gold standard. That was us. That was our money. All right? They put us with the Federal Reserve. Now, a lot of people think that the Federal Reserve is part of the government. That's a bald-faced fucking lie. That's a private-ass owned bank. The private Western-owned bank. Okay? They give us their dollars, they notes, and charge us interest on what they give us. They print the money, and their charter is to keep down inflation and to keep up employment. That's their charter. Okay? I don't see that. I don't see that at all. Monetary policy has just went right out the fucking window. Because nobody's really understanding that $27 trillion can come back and bite you in your ass. And it's going to have long ass fangs when it do it. So it's going to go deep. But again, I repeat, the only individuals that suffer the most behind an economic collapse are the little guys, the working people. Now, the working people are the ones that have to turn around, work even harder to regain some type of semblance of an economic system. That means that all the burden has been placed on the backs of the population. The people that get out and go to work every day, now they saying you got to pay this, you got to pay that, you got to pay this, you got to pay that. It was not designed to be this way. What you have to understand is this is manipulation on a large scale. It even goes around the world. When you can sit up and have Hunter Biden, for example, when you can sit up and have Hunter Biden go get money from Moscow, from the wife, the mayor of Moscow's wife, I think it was $1 million or some change. Then you can go to Beijing and come out of there with what was it, $1.5 billion? You can go to Ukraine, get some money out of them. Remember now, when the economy collapses, those in the higher ups, they don't feel the pain. You don't feel no pain when you got $1.5 billion out of China, and everybody in this country that are notable individuals in finance and investments said that has never ever happened. They've never been able to go to China, get that sizable amount of money to invest in anything for China. But Hunter Biden did it. See, these hands wash the other hands. These people have secrets that go way beyond anything that we could ever conceive. And we're not sitting here trying to say that every last one of them are fucked up. Yeah, we are trying to say that shit. Every last one of these motherfuckers are fucked up. They fucking with the Chinese. They being paid by the Chinese. They doing all kinds of shady ass business deals all the way around the world and selling out the American people in the process. And in the process of doing so, the same funky ass motherfuckers that call themselves leaders won't even stop the motherfucking corporations and big tech from silencing the individuals who's trying to bring you that fucking news. But I digress. Because it makes no fucking sense. Because even if you try to put it out there, they're going to censor you. Even if you try to bring it to the surface, they're going to quiet you. They've been doing this kind of shit for years, but they've been doing it incrementally. Look, when the police is about to kick down your door on a raid, guess what? They're not going to do it and then get the evidence. They're going to get the evidence, then they're going to kick in your door. They got to get a warrant. They got to have enough information that a judge deems it necessary to issue a warrant for the police to come to your house and get your ass. All right? That's just the legal system. Now the same damn thing applies when it comes down to how MSM, mainstream media, how they're in bed with these politicians and how these politicians are in bed with certain members, or it appears, let's just say appears to be either in bed or involved with what is supposed to be our number one enemy on deck, Communist Chinese Communist Chinese Party. We have to ask ourselves, what are we doing by electing these fucking idiots? What are we doing when we know we done heard these people tell us really unsavory things? The politicians, we done heard them say this. We done seen them with really disgusting behavior. But we still put these son of a bitches right back in their damn seats. We keep voting name recognition. These people are nowhere close to being for the American people. Now, don't get me wrong, you got a few. Jim Jordan out of Ohio. You know what I'm saying? Marsha Blackburn out of Tennessee. You know, there are some. There are quite a few of them that believe in the American dream. Devin Nunes, you know, there's a lot of them. They believe in being for the American people, and they have fought hard and long to prove their point. But when it appears you have a sea of Democratic socialists that now at this present moment have taken the mantle of power in the House and in the Senate, and now, come Wednesday, the White House. These people, over the course of time, has espoused some of the, let's just say, most interesting positions on how government should be ran. And some of those interesting positions in a lot of cases sounds quite similar to socialism, borderline communism. Marxism, at its, I guess you could say at its smallest point, at its weakest point, maybe Marxism. But the point being is they're advocating for a system that has never, ever, ever fucking worked nowhere on this globe. And they want to institute that same system here in America. And we're supposed to sit back, twiddle our thumbs, be quiet about it, be silenced, be doxxed, be deplatformed, and just go with the flow. Because that's basically what this is. There is no opposing voice. There's no opposing view. There's no opportunity to say, well, I hear what you're saying, but here's what I think. There's only, I hear what you're saying. There's no other side. There's silence. And if any of this, and again, repeat, what they do to your opponent today, I'll be damned if they're not going to do it to your ass tomorrow. So you sit back and enjoy what you think is a tacit victory. Because the truth of the matter is, everything that's done in the dark always comes to the light. And this bullshit will be exposed. It may happen tomorrow. It may not happen till next year. But all of the trash that has been accumulated is gonna blow the hell up. And when it blows up, you're gonna find you covered in a bunch of bull. And you knew it was bull when you started it, but you know now everybody knows you're full of bull. And everybody can see this with their own eyes. A lot of this stuff we've been seeing with our own eyes. Look, the reason why Donald Trump got elected in the first place is because a lot of Americans was tired of the bullshit. Simply tired. Every one of those politicians that stood on that stage, from Jeb Bush to what's that guy's name? Marco Rubio. Okay. Every last one of them guys, lifelong politician, lifelong, ain't known nothing except for how to campaign. He's never last one of them. Jeb Bush, you know, he thought, and the Bush whole family thought, that hell, just by name recognition alone, he deserved to be the president. But that was proven out to be wrong, because the American people finally saw the things that were being done to us. Saw the things that these politicians lifelong have been doing, and noticed that maybe we need to put somebody in there that is not affiliated with none of this bullshit. So that's how you ended up with Trump. That is why you had this man being stalked, hawked, being accused of all kinds of traitorous activities and so on and so forth. They investigated him more than anybody else on the planet. Why? Because he didn't stand for that globalism. Why? Because he's not a part of the in crowd, you know. And that is why everything right now looks a little ugly when it comes down to how the politicians we have in office right now, how they behave. This whole thing is like pulling the veil back and you can actually see how these people behave. And it's a little bit distasteful, quite distasteful, when you have a politician, leader of the House, hold up a stimulus package. Now, you had a lot of people that were struggling. They done shut down their businesses because of Corona. And they were struggling to pay their bills, and they had no money coming in. And that little bit of change that, if they'd have passed a stimulus bill, would have helped a lot of people. But again, Nancy Pelosi held that up based on the fact that she thought it wouldn't be good to give Trump a win. You are watching Facts and Opinions on Wjzz Cool TV, live streaming to you every Saturday and Sunday from 2 till 3 on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and Periscope. Now, we were just talking about Nancy Pelosi. Now remember, these same individuals that had these have these press interviews, once or twice a week. They do it in the House of Representatives and the Senate. Now, they come out at these press conferences talking about the American people, how they're trying to help the American people. But Nancy Pelosi exposed her hand when it came to helping the American people. And you may want to know how I say she exposed her hand. This is how she exposed her hand. The crazy ass woman wouldn't pass a stimulus bill to help the American people. People who lost their jobs, people who had lost their income, people that were struggling, people who couldn't pay their rent, people who couldn't feed their kids. She did not pass that stimulus bill until after the election. Now, that was only because the dirt was done. The election was stolen. Didn't hurt none to go ahead and pass the stimulus bill with a $600 stimulus check. Now, let's be honest. It took this woman months, talking about Nancy Pelosi, it took this woman months to finally get around to giving every American that qualifies $600 damn dollars. All right? But right after the Capitol riot, not 24 hours later, this woman was able to draw up articles of impeachment and push them all through. Do that sound like somebody that was actually looking out for the American people? Fuck no, it don't look like that. That's why I keep saying these hypocritical son of a bitches need to get... Dude, this is ridiculous. People have been suffering. People have been hurting. People have been hungry. People are standing in goddamn food lines, getting these boxes of food for months. Not weeks, not days, but months. And this crazy ass woman, after the election, after months of pain, after months of suffering, decided to give every American that qualified $600 funky ass dollars. But then want to turn around and impeach the president in less than 24 fucking hours. How does any of these hypocritical motherfuckers think we can even listen to them when we see what they fucking do? It's not even as if you're trying to be slick with your shit. It's not as if you're trying to be coy. You being right there. Just like the election was stolen straight in our faces. This woman turned right around after we got slapped in our face about that election. Turns right around and give us the backhand again. $600? $600. The president said at least give the American people $2,000. It's not their fault COVID came down. The Chinese Communist Party did it to the world. That's what the president said. And a lot of people agreed with that. Still waiting. Don't get me wrong, I ain't saying it didn't happen. But what I'm saying is, the same individual that rallied for Americans to get $2,000 instead of $600, not 24 hours later, the same woman turned around and impeached this man. And I told you before, this isn't about him being impeached. This is about the future. Because if he didn't win because they cheated him. But if he decides to run in 2024, shit, who the hell don't think he gonna win? Seriously, no joke. They know this. And if he is found guilty and impeached, that eliminates him from holding any public or government office. So in essence, they get rid of Trump without having to get rid of Trump, without having to fight him, without having to go and run against him. They get rid of him on legislation and legislation alone. Nothing more, nothing less. Now we're coming down to the end of our show. It has been a wonderful Sunday. I've enjoyed you guys, and I need you to understand that the fight is not over. Just because Trump done left does not mean that the fight is over. We still got a lot more road to hoe because it's gonna be some changes that come around real soon in a lot of our lives, and those changes are not gonna come from next door. They're gonna come from the other side of the planet, and we gotta hope and pray every day that the man that's in the Oval Office has the wisdom, the foresight, the knowledge, and the grace of God to get us through this. But you have been watching Facts and Opinion with JR on Wjzz Cool TV. Live streaming Saturday and Sunday from 2 to 3 on Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, and Periscope. Now look, when you go to YouTube, do me a favor. Hit the like button, thumbs up, and subscribe. Here at WJZZ, I'm not the only one here. We got other talent. We got other personalities. You might like what they got for you if I can't get you there. So anyway, check in with us next Saturday. We're going to have some good things going on. We're going to have some good conversation. And like always, God loves you, and I do too. Bye-bye.
Sign of your maturity.